I'm Chief Tom Ford from the City of Tampa Fire Rescue.
I'm Preston Cook, the Director of Emergency Management with the Hillsborough County Fire Rescue Department.
Are you ready, Tampa Bay?
Here in Tampa, we are prone to severe weather and are at greater risk to be directly impacted by a hurricane. To help you, we organize and hold a Hurricane Expo each year. Let's take a look at this year's Hurricane Expo, which was held at Tampa's Museum of Science and Industry.
Statistically speaking, if you look at history, every 20 to 30 years. Again, Tampa Bay has not had a major hurricane in some 90 years. The last one was in 1921, the Tarpon Springs hurricane. Since then, we've had nearly a century of tree growth. And so when you look at the infrastructure of modern day Tampa Bay, having started out with a population of about 10,000 people, and now having a population well over 2.5 million people, the implications of a massive tree blowdown would include power outages for weeks, if not longer. A couple variables in play that are unique to this area, making this one of the most prone locations in the entire United States for potential catastrophic hurricane damage. Number one, we've had an exploding population across the Bay Area, and many people, upwards of 500,000 households, live in the worst, most prone evacuation zone between Hillsborough and Pinellas counties.
Red, orange, yellow, green, and purple, and know which one of those zones you lie in, because that is very helpful to helping you get your plan in place and know the sense of urgency with respect to any major storm surge or any major flooding.
Tampa Bay is very shallow, and the shelf waters around Tampa Bay, once you get into the open Gulf, are so shallow that we have to cut channels for large ships to pass.
Storm surge is created by water being pushed towards the shore by the force of winds moving in a counterclock rotation around the storm. We could see surge up to 20 feet or more. Hurricane Katrina in 2005 is a perfect example of the damage and devastation that can be caused by surge.
Storm surge is the #1 killer in hurricanes, so we want to make sure that you hide from the wind and you run from the water, as we say. So again, listen to those evacuation orders and stay tuned to the National Weather Service and local media for the important information.
The cool banner you're looking behind me is a mass notification alert system, and it's called Alert Tampa. Go onto the website, sign up and put their information on. The Department of Emergency Management will be able to notify you of any impending issues with regard to weather, man-made or natural disaster, or any concerns that the community might be facing.
So the most important thing to remember is that make sure that you listen to the emergency response officials when evacuations are ordered.
It's not a matter of if a storm will come or if something will happen, it's a matter of when it will happen. And you need to be prepared now.
One major problem with a place that hasn't been hit by a major hurricane in almost a century is complacency. And it's not people thinking, oh, it can't happen here. It's people who in their minds have proof that it can't happen here. What I mean by that is we've got an entire generation that has never seen a major hurricane in Tampa Bay. We're talking parents and even grandparents. So when it comes to the children who are now having kids, they've never seen their neighborhood underwater, they've never seen their neighborhood destroyed, and they've certainly never seen a major blowdown in a major hurricane. That complacency alone is one of the most dangerous aspects of Tampa Bay, because when evacuation orders are given, well, it's not going to happen here, so frankly at all, people will not evacuate.
Today is the day. In good weather, fair weather, now's the time to put your plan together. The conditions of living are only going to be as good as your preparation was prior to that incident.
Some of the essentials you might need, of course, are a change of clothes. They usually recommend about a 2,400 calorie ration per person. Of course, you want to get some lighting, some candles, batteries and flashlights, of course, are always critical. A basic first aid kit, those types of things are really important. Of course, don't forget to stop at the ATM and get some cash. Obviously, without any power, we're not going to be able to run debit cards.
If you're going to shelter in home, you're not going to evacuate, because the saying is you run from water and you hide from wind. You shelter in your home, you need to have 3 to 5 days of supplies, especially your prescription medications, your emergency papers, your documents, your insurance policies. Take that with you, your family, your pet, and go to a shelter. Of course, a shelter can be a last resort. If you have a family member that has a home that's not in an evacuation zone, then we recommend that you go stay with a family member first. Make sure that you have enough cash on hand before the storm arrives. You also need to fill up your vehicles with gasoline a day or two before the storm hits. If you need to evacuate, you want to have a full tank of gas in order to get to where you need to go for the evacuation.
Dr. Lancy is a National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration doctor. He works at the National Hurricane Center. And when he came up to Tampa Bay last year to talk to the meteorologists at the local television stations about the updated information on storm surge potential, he looked around and he said, my goodness, I haven't been to Tampa in several years, but seeing the explosion of development in this coastal community, people will die when the next major hurricane hits.
Your planning now can help you during and after the storm. It may even save your life. Visit us today at tampagov.net/fire and learn more on how you can be ready, Tampa.